By the 1940s, and just over 20 years since it had opened for business, the Cecil Hotel had recorded more strange and violent happenings than most hotels will ever see in their entire existence. Residents had died from poisoning, gunshot wounds, throat slashing, and causes of death which were simply reported as misadventure. But there was more horror to come. On February 19, 2013, the body of Elisa Lam, a 21-year-old Canadian student, was found naked inside one of the water supply tanks on the hotel roof.
A Canadian citizen, she had gone to university there, and she was just traveling.
She was a loner, and she had a history of depression, bipolar, and she was on prescription drugs for it.
There were some interviews with witnesses at the hotel who'd met her at the time and said that she was off her medication, that she was acting strangely.
January 31st, she didn't call mom and dad back in Vancouver. They were so concerned about her that they called the police. They felt something was wrong, very wrong.
We went over to the Cecil Hotel where she was last known to have been staying. We basically went floor to floor, room to room, knocking on doors and asking if anyone had seen her.
Video surveillance footage taken from inside an elevator shortly before her disappearance showed Lam acting strangely.
The video really caused people to wonder what happened to Elisa Lam. I mean, a 22-year-old going missing in Los Angeles is not that unusual, but when it follows this strange behavior.
She's pushing the buttons. She would peek out into the hallway as if she was looking for someone. She'd get back in. She'd go to the far back of the cab of the elevator. And just really strange movements.
You could see from her arm movements, almost as if she were gesturing to somebody or almost dancing or communicating. But we never see anybody else.
It's possible she's having some sort of waking nightmare. It's also possible because she was mentally ill that she was seeing something that wasn't there.
By mid-February, there was still no sign of Elisa.
She'd been missing for 3 weeks, and the search was still going on. The break in the case came in a very gross way.
The residents in the building start complaining, saying, look, there is a foul odor from our faucet water, our drinking water, and it's discolored, and it tastes weird.
Something was wrong. So a maintenance team was sent up to the roof to check the water supply. They noticed that one of the water tank hatches was not secure. They opened it up and they looked inside, and they saw Elisa floating face up toward them. The same clothes that we saw her wearing in the elevator on February the 1st were floating with her in the tank.
We believe she was clothed when she went in. At some point, she shed herself of her clothes and eventually drowned.
The mystery was, how did she get into the tank?
It's an uncanny situation that a girl would climb all the way up, lift a heavy latch, and then climb in, take her clothes off. I mean, what is she doing up there to begin with?
Once you're inside that cylinder, the top of it now is out of reach. And there's nothing that you can cling to or grab onto and get yourself up to a point where you can come back out.
It's possible that someone was up there with her. It's possible that someone either harmed her or found her dead, or she died during the course of drugs that were being taken together. I mean, it's a good place to hide a body.
The problem is, police found no evidence that there was a struggle or anybody forced her into the tank.
Rumors persist she died as a result of playing the elevator game, a paranormal urban legend.
The purpose of the game is to use an elevator to enter through a portal into another dimension.
You can't really see much of her facial expressions on there. It's blurry. So there are a lot of things that we don't still know about the circumstances of the elevator. But what we do know, it apparently happened just before she died. The only conclusion the coroner could put on the death certificate was drowning. But that's not a very satisfying answer, because how do those kind of accidents happen?
But was it an accident? Many theories exist about Elisa's death, but as another on the growing list of Cecil's victims, her demise remained unexplained.